What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Welcome to Oh So Simplified. Coming to you with a video here about living life by your own standard. So to start this off, basically, it kind of comes from just something I've been thinking about for years. I'm going to start off with 3 different points, and actually that's going to be the whole video is 3 different points, but I'm going to start with the first point about just the societal standards, and then I'm going to kind of break down society in general. So society is always going to put your standards on you. At different periods of time, I actually think that those standards had more of a meaning, more of something that you needed to adhere to than this day and age, which will be something I get into in my second point. But basically society. So what is that? So that would be, you know, your overall environment, things from your family to your friends to, you know, your country as a whole to the globe as a whole. And especially with the proliferation of social media, a lot of these are constantly shot at you, bombarded. You're bombarded with it, whatever endeavor it is that you're going into, or just in general about how you're living your life. There's all these standards, these expectations that get thrust upon you, and there's a lot of people that try to follow to please those, whether it's, you know, getting a job that your parents like, you know, having the type of family or relationship life that your parents had, you know, meeting the people that your friends are, being like your friends, keeping up with the Joneses, your neighbors, you know, the country, what the country says it is to be, you know, a man, a woman, whatever it is. You know, there are those societal pressures, there are those societal expectations that are thrust upon you and kind of condition you to, you know, act in a certain way. Now, the second point I want to get to is the rite of passage. Now, this is the reason why I really think living by your own expectations is really the largest thing now. Like, I think society as a whole had more of a place and more of a, not a rubric, but a compass for you back in the day that has been kind of removed. And that really comes down to the fact that there's no rite of passages. Like, if you ever read anything about cultures further back in history, there are specific things that you had to do, whether it was like go out on a vision quest. If you ever seen the movie 300, when they became like a warrior, they had to go to, I forgot what it was called, but they basically had to like live very bare bones and kind of survive on their own. You know, there's been many, especially, and I know the more from the man aspect, but I really think that the women had a very similar circumstance, but there was like a marking of these things you needed to accomplish to be an established man, to be considered an adult in society. And in this day and age, especially in the country that I'm in, US, there really isn't anymore. A lot of the these milestones have been kind of thrown down. I mean, you can think of college as one, you can think of high school, graduating high school as one, but I don't really think those are actually rite of passages. I don't really think they teach you about anything about being an adult in this society. And that's where it really comes down to, you're gonna have to set your own expectations, your own standard, if you will, because really the expectation and standards of other people, there's 2 main issues with it, kind of regarding the whole rite of passage thing. Like, the times have changed. That's number 1. So these rite of passages aren't in place because the times have progressed to a point where they're not as practical anymore. And then the next one is that most people don't know where they're going, which kind of leads to that same rite of passage. Like, things have changed so much, people can't really give you a great idea of what things are going to be like 20 to 30 years, what you should do to you know, live your own life, set things up for yourself. So really, when it comes down to it, you're going to have to be the one that defines what that standard is, what those expectations are. And I listen to a lot of other content, and I also listen to a lot of content in the quote-unquote manosphere. And what I've realized when you hear a lot of these men speak, or young men, or even some of the older men, is like they don't really have a very clear grasp on who they are or who they are as a person. And that's why they're trying to glom onto all these gurus. I mean, I definitely think, and obviously I'm making videos too, I want people to listen to it, but I don't want people to ever think I have the gospel. Like, I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude living my life, trying to make decisions on my own, and I'm just trying to share that to give anybody else if they can have something to resonate. but I don't want everybody hanging on my words in particular, or hanging on the words of anybody else, because that you're always just hearing their story. You're hearing you know, their vision. You know, I think he wrote the book, Miguel Ruiz, I think his name is. He talks about like seeing through your own window. Like only people can see through their own window. So a lot of times that you hear some things, it's really just what another motherfucker really thinks and what they believe and what's true for them. And Bruce Lee has that quote that's, you know, absorb what's useful, discard what is not, make everything else uniquely your own. I really think that last sentence is not what people are doing. They're taking these things, these terms, these way of viewing, whether it's relationships or viewing the world, business. I know it's happened to me, especially early in my earlier 20s, that I really took what people were saying as the gospel and not as, you know, I'm just gonna absorb what makes sense for me, what resonates with me. I'm confident in my plan. I'm confident in my standards and expectations. And I'm confident in myself as a man that I have the answer for me. And I know what the next step of what I need to learn. I'll go out and learn it, and then I'll bring it to my life, put my own spin on it, and then do it. And that's really something I think is very important, because there isn't these rite of passages. There isn't this blueprint or this goal that is concrete that everybody has to do that, you know, gets you to that next level, which I do think we are kind of ingrained to seek that out. And that's why you see that phenomenon of whether it's a political leader, whether it's a political movement, whether it's a YouTube leader or guru or whatever you want to call them, whether it's an idea, whether it's you know, a certain movement with certain behaviors. I've seen a lot of people creating these like cult-like followings or belief systems where, you know, people thinking that, you know, if you don't jerk off, you're going to be able to fly. I mean, I think there might be benefits to that idea, but like, I don't think it's the gospel that's going to change your life, you know. The same thing, you know, I don't think, you know, just arguing about how everything is unfair in the world is going to necessarily make your life better. But I digress on that. I don't want to really get as deep into that, but that's just kind of my general gist on that. And really at the end of the day, my whole main thing is that you're gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror. Nobody else is gonna have to look at you in the mirror. Nobody else is going to have to face the actual results and outcomes. And this is kind of a central theme in just the way that I think and what I believe is true in this world, is that, you know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to how you feel about what you've done. And that's what you need to structure your life, structure your standards, and structure your expectations of others and yourself to be aligned with, is what you want to get out of this life. And if you keep that as the guiding principle for you, and obviously I'm not saying be an asshole and ruin everybody else's thing. It's like, I do believe in being compassionate, I do believe in being understanding, but I do believe in both of those words towards yourself too. And, you know, if somebody else's expectation doesn't align with your expectation, then you might have to just let them know, like, that is not what I'm going after. You know, I appreciate your input, but I'm just going to let you know that I'm not entertaining those ideas. I'm not entertaining bringing that into my life. I'm not entertaining taking on that blueprint. And for better or worse, I'm going to accept the consequences, because that's my decision, and I'm going to have to live with my decision. And I always have felt that I'd rather die by my own sword than follow somebody else and die by theirs. So that's it for this video. Just really wanted to put this up. I'm gonna have kind of a different format moving next week, but been doing a lot of preparation, other things in the mix, in the background, but ain't an excuse. Gotta keep executing. But if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like it, you know, leave some bad comments. Anything is better than nothing. You know what it is. And until next time, peace.